G'day and welcome to another episode of Cuppa with a Jesuit. I'm having a cuppa here with a couple of my Jesuit mates, and I'm Father Robin Koning, the Provincial Assistant for Vocations for the Australian Jesuit Province.
G'day, I'm Julian Butler, a Jesuit in formation, and Father Robin and I are joined by Father Andy Nguyen. Father Andy, welcome.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
Andy, you're there in North Sydney in the parish of Our Lady of the Way. Would you like to share a bit about what your work there involves at the moment?
Yes, I've been in the parish and the community for about a year and a half, coming back from Boston in June of 2020. My main ministry is the pastoral, sacramental, and liturgical ministry here at the parish. So, presiding at Mass, hearing confession, and meeting people for pastoral care and visiting hospital and those things. Yeah.
That's a good setting for you because you have a particular interest in liturgy, don't you? I think you did a licentiate in liturgy as part of your theology studies in Boston. You might want to say something about your interest in liturgy and in particular how that has unfolded during COVID, where you haven't had the opportunity very much for face-to-face liturgies with a large congregation, at least.
Yes, indeed. I had always had an interest in the liturgy since before I joined the Jesuit. So along the way, I think the opportunities were given to me to study. And so I did that in Boston. And as a trained architect, so those two things go together pretty well. And so during lockdown, of course, we had the daily Mass broadcast from St. Francis Xavier, and usually it was one view, and we're looking down an empty church. So it's rather an eerie feeling, and I thought to myself too that people only see one view of us, and a sense of disconnect from the context from which the Mass was broadcasted from. So I thought of an idea to show the people the rest of the church. So I did a short videos to give them an architectural and historical tour of the St. Francis Xavier Church about last month.
So Andy, speaking of background in architecture, could you tell us a little bit about life before joining the society, what you'd done and the path that led you to join?
Yes. I studied architecture for a long time. I always was looking for something that out of the box, something to give meaning to my, I guess, the interest and vocation in the architectural profession. So I spent 5 years in undergraduate architecture, and in the postgraduate architecture another 2 years, looking for more meaningful path in my profession. It didn't turn out that way because I worked for a while in a typical architectural firm and designing and constructing commercial architecture as well as residential, and didn't really give me a sense of fulfillment. And so one day I was asking myself whether this is what I would be doing for the rest of my life. And so an idea popped into my head about, is there a kind of system where I can insert myself and put my architectural skill into helping people? And there was an idea of joining a religious order. So the rest is history, I think.
So Andy, what was it about the Jesuits, what was it about the Jesuits that made that the order?
Oh, I didn't really know anything about the Jesuits, and I was looking around, and of course I go to the internet, and I found so many religious order, and one day I found a postcard that advertised the Jesuits, and it said we do that too. A list of different professions that are members of the society have. And that postcard came out, I think, in the early 2000s, and I found it in a university cafe. And so that really started me into looking into the Jesuit and see, well, maybe I could be a good fit.
What was it particularly that attracted you, with the Jesuits? You had that sense that you could do a whole range of things within the Jesuits. Was that the main thing that attracted you at that point?
At the beginning, yes, that a kind of way in. I said, I can plug myself into the system, and somehow the system would allow me to use my skill. But later on, in interacting and visiting Jesuit communities, really what attracted me to the society was the companionship, the sense of friendship that the Jesuit whom invited me into their dinner and lunches and masses, and I found that it's a really sense of brotherhood that and family that really attracted me.
And Andy, since sort of feeling that invitation, having joined, has it been as you expected, or has it been a journey of surprises? What are some of the experiences that stand out for you as things you might have expected, things that have surprised you since joining?
Yes, definitely. After a little while, the honeymoon finished, and the reality set in. We, like any family, we have different people, and we've been put together without having a choice. Like you don't choose your families, and you don't choose who to live with. And in one way, it gave me a lot of freedom to be authentic, to be myself, and accept my brothers as I accept myself. And so those are growing a sense of growth after taking vows for so many years. Realizing that we all in it, and to live with each other, and to be having a freedom to be authentic and collaborate and work together in a mission.
In terms of your architecture background, I don't think you've had much chance to make use of that, except for a significant experience when you're on your regency, on your pastoral placement in East Timor.
Yes. Oh, that was a bit of out of the blue, really, because I was working in Mount Druitt, Western Sydney, and I was half in a parish and half in our school. It was then Loyola Senior High School. And one year, and I thought I'd be there for another year, and then maybe theology after that. But then I got a call from the provincial and saying, what do you think about going to East Timor? And I asked him, to do what? And he said, well, we're building some school and clinic, and we need someone to help manage the projects. And I said, oh, okay, let me have a couple of weeks to think about. And then I said yes, not knowing what really going to happen, because I never really had construction management experience, and so it was a learning curve for me. But in a sense, being a missionary as well as practicing my architectural skill was rewarding, as also very challenging as a working environment.
So Andy, given your experiences and that sense of growth that you've had, what would you say to a young man who might come to have a conversation with you about joining the Jesuits?
And I would say something that another Jesuit said to me, a Tertian, years ago, said to be open to the sense of adventure, as well as the risk that it may take, and to let God carry you in this journey. There's nothing to lose, but to open to what may be beyond. Yeah.
So you'd have no hesitation in recommending this way of life to a suitable young man?
I don't have any hesitation recommending this way of life. And I think it's really up to the man to give it a go, to visit and talk to some of us, and to find out how we live and work together. I mean, in the way that I was invited into a Jesuit community when I was discerning.
That's great to hear, Andy. And thank you for your time today. It's been good to have a couple with you.
Cheers.
Thank you, Julian and Robin. Excellent to see you.